Good morning. Welcome to e-commerce marketing with the Pitbulls. I'm Andy,
I'm Lindsey.
and today we're going to be talking about branded search in Google Ads. Excited to dive right into that. Before we get started, Lindsey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Very happy it's spooky season and excited to learn more about branded search. I have to admit, when we first started working together, I had not heard of this technique, or what would you call that? Not a technique, strategy. I had not heard of this strategy yet. So I'm really excited to kind of dive in as if I was just starting to work with you and kind of be in the same shoes as I was about a year ago and talk more about how this is super beneficial to our clients.
Definitely, there's a lot of strong opinions on this, so I think this is a great topic. Certainly something people will be looking for, and I back you up on the spooky season. It's a dreary day here, so hopefully it comes through on my camera here. It's spooky time.
Are you all big Halloween people?
Not a ton. I always try to get into it a little bit. This year it's going to be funny, just the way we're set up. I'm going to be home alone for Halloween, so I'll be just handing out candy alone here.
I feel like that's the setup for a horror movie. So
definitely, yeah. The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, awesome. Let's get started. Great. So want to get started with just kind of a quick overview. Why don't I kind of turn things around here and throw it over to you, Lindsey? Can you explain what is branded search from your point of view?
Sure. So a branded search campaign is really just a campaign centered around the keywords being your branded search terms. So this is typically the name of your business. And we really focus the keywords to be more of like a phrase match or an exact match around those specific keywords. So it's not leaving it open for Google to try to pull in what it thinks might be related. We're really targeting very, very specifically for these branded search terms so that when people are looking for your brand, that's the ad that's going to come up. So that's kind of the basics of it.
Definitely. I think an example is always great here. This is kind of similar to, say somebody was searching, if you're, Joe's Bakery, and somebody is searching for you because they already know they like you, they want to buy your product, and they're just looking for your website. This would be if somebody types in, Joe's Bakery or Joe's Bakery Donuts, those types of searches where somebody's really bottom of the funnel, already knows that you're the business they're looking to work with, or they're looking for more information about your business specifically, and they're searching directly for you.
Yeah, I think the questions we always get about this is, why would I do this? So I think that's kind of my first big question for you is, if I were a client thinking about doing this, what are some reasons that you would give me to even try branded search?
Definitely. There's two big reasons we always focus on. The first one, kind of the more classic example, is a defensive play. So this is if competitors are running ads on your keywords, you want to make sure that you're running an ad first so that you're going to be the top of the list when somebody's searching for you. So getting back to our example, if somebody's searching for Joe's Bakery, and down the street, John's Bakery says, hey, I'm going to run an ad. So every time somebody searches for Joe's Bakery, I pop up top of the list. A lot of times people might come in and either just by accident click the first row, or maybe it's such a great ad that they look at it and say, oh, this is awesome. There's a lot of great benefits to John's Bakery. I'll do business with them instead. And the problem there is these are customers that are almost already Joe's Bakery's customers. They're down the funnel. They know they want this business. They're making their search. They come in, and then all of a sudden, the last minute, John's Bakery swoops in and steals them away. So that's something we want to be really, really careful about. We want to be aggressive about making sure that we're protecting our own brand equity. So if somebody knows they want us and they're searching for us, we don't let any competitors in there. We're always the top of the list. One of the things that we can look for there on the Google ad side is called search impression share, and actually absolute top search impression share, which is basically just a measure of the percentage of time somebody was searching for that keyword, Joe's Bakery. How often were you the absolute top of the list? And that's a metric that we always like to look at and make sure that we're keeping that, in the 90, 95 range. Depending on how much we're willing to spend on these search ads.
I think that's such a good point. And I think I hear this a lot from clients when they say that they're Googling their own company name and they'll see another competitor's ad come up. And if you're not running ads to compete with that, you're basically just giving it away to them. So that's a really simple way if you're a company owner to figure out are your competitors running search ads against your brand name is just go ahead and Google your name and see if you get targeted with one.
Definitely. And then the second big reason, so sometimes people say, okay, well, that's not happening. I search for my company name and I'm still popping to the top of the list. So it's probably a little less urgent in this case. You can make a little bit better case for not running branded search in that case. But there is still a good reason, or what we think is often a good reason, and that's that you control that ad listing when you're paying for that ad to pop up in the list. So typically, when we talk about organic traffic, somebody comes in and searches for Joe's Bakery on Google. If you're not running any ads, what Google is going to do is take the information that they've scraped off your website. So hopefully you have some good SEO in place. That information is really well structured in the page data. Google is going to take that and create, a search listing, what you see every day when you run a standard search. And it's going to have some information about your business that they glean from the website. The challenge with that, or the nice thing, if you're running it as an ad instead of that organic search listing, is that you have full control over it. So one, you can put in any information that you want in that headline and description, kind of very specific information, whatever, attributes of your business that you want to call out. But two, what's really cool is you can do things that are time sensitive. So if you're running a particular sale for just a few weeks, you can go ahead, or just a few days even, you can go ahead and put that in your headline so that anytime somebody's searching for your business, all of a sudden it'll say, hey, Joe's Bakery, act quick, 15% off sale this week only. You can't really do that on your organic listing, because even if you were to properly tag that in the page data, it would take some time for Google to go back and crawl your page and eventually get that into the organic search data. So that's another really big benefit. The other big thing there's what we call search extensions that you can add. So things like additional links to kind of internal pages on your site, or different pieces of call out information. There's kind of a whole number of things that you can do within Google Ads to really kind of beef up that listing that you can't do with an organic listing.
Okay, so we've got some good reasons to try it, but I feel like the biggest pushback we always hear is, why would I do this? Aren't I going to get that traffic anyway? So what would you say to detractors who say that, I would just be getting this traffic anyway? Why would I even try branded search?
Definitely. Yeah, that's always the thing, right? It's, hey, why am I paying for an ad when I would be coming up anyway? And especially if you don't have a ton of competitors bidding over you, that's the big argument against branded search. And sometimes that could make some sense, but it's important to remember that branded search traffic or branded ads are really cheap. So when you're putting in your ad, the amount that you pay for each individual click is determined not only by how much you're willing to bid, but also by the quality of your search, the quality of your ad as it matches what the customer was searching for. So if somebody's searching for Joe's Bakery and you have an ad that talks all about Joe's Bakery and then links directly to the actual domain for Joe's Bakery, that's a really high quality ad. So it's, very, very closely tied to the actual intent of what the person was searching for. That means that piece of the bidding equation is going to give you a much cheaper aspect. So if you're bidding against John's Bakery and you're Joe's Bakery, you're probably going to pay, half or a quarter or even less to get that same place in the search listing that your competitor needs to pay. So that's typically what we'll see. If you're saying, hey, on your regular non-branded traffic, you're trying to show up for, high quality baked goods, you might be paying, I don't know, $3, $5, $10 per click, depending on, the different situations and configurations. If it's the branded search for Joe's Bakery, oftentimes we'll see, even on the order of, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents a click, especially in those cases when you don't have a lot of people bidding against you. There's not a lot of competition that you need to kind of outbid. So that's a good thing to bear in mind, that, yeah, you are paying a little bit for this traffic, that you would get some of it, maybe you wouldn't get all of it, but now you're paying for some of that. However, you're not paying a ton. It's very, very cheap traffic. The kind of study of this is called incrementality. So that's something that, a lot of people are talking about these days, especially when it comes to branded search, is, how incremental are the results that we're getting? So if you're running branded traffic, you say, oh, great, I got 100 purchases from that branded search campaign. The question we always get is, okay, well, if you weren't running that campaign, how many would I have gotten? And the answer is, well, probably wouldn't have gotten all 100. And you probably would have gotten more than 0. So some amount of those purchases really can be attributed to your branded search campaign. The in-depth scientific study of exactly how many of those searches can be attributed in that way is called incrementality. So what is the incrementality of those results, and making sure that your results are incremental? It's a really in-depth area. We won't go into that necessarily on this video, but suffice to say, it's a really, really hard thing to measure. And especially it's a hard thing to measure for smaller businesses, smaller budgets, and less data coming back in. It's really hard to put an exact number on search incrementality. So that's something that we really, we kind of look at it in terms of rough guesses and kind of rules of thumb to kind of figure that out. But in the long run, because this is typically very cheap traffic, we do typically say, hey, let's make sure to keep those branded search ads up, because we want to make sure that we're controlling our search listing and defending against any competitors who may be bidding against you.
Okay. I think that's a really great argument for it. What about for products like Performance Max? So if we do a branded search campaign just with text search ads, it's going to be really simple to target. But what about Performance Max, which really doesn't allow you to choose keywords, and you are kind of leaving it up to Google to match your assets with the searches that people are putting in?
Yeah, that's a really important thing to bear in mind, that even if you're not running a branded search campaign, when you run a Performance Max campaign or Google Smart Campaigns, there's a couple different search products in there. Google will be bidding on some branded search traffic. So if you just have a regular Performance Max campaign and nothing else in the account, they're probably going to be bidding more often than not on your individual brand keywords. And the reason for that is because those are the easiest ones to convert. So if you're doing an automated bidding model, telling Google to bid for results, those are probably the best results can be expected from those searches. But important to remember that. So Performance Max does include branded search traffic. So remember that if you are running Performance Max, you're getting branded search, whether you're running a specific branded search campaign or not. What I always like to tell people, though, is that only scales so far. There's only that many people out there searching for Joe's Bakery. So in the long run, what we're trying to do with all of these campaigns is first find profitable results, but then start to really scale them up and start to see, okay, well, how many times can we get these results? How many purchases can we get in the door? And remember that your branded search isn't going to scale forever. There's only so many people searching for you. So that can help to think through whether you want to worry too much about the branded traffic that's in Performance Max. When you're first getting started and it's a very small budget, that branded search traffic probably will be a pretty big component of it. But when you're really up and running and churning along and you're putting a good amount of money into Performance Max and getting a lot of great results out of it, you've probably scaled beyond the point where there's that big of a component of branded search in there. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But definitely something we've had a lot of clients in the past say, hey, great arguments. You've made a good case for having branded search, but I'm still not going to do it. I don't, for whatever reason, I just don't want to spend any money on that. If that is the case, you've got to remember that, hey, Performance Max is still going to give you that same issue where you are going to be paying for some branded search traffic in that Performance Max campaign.
Yeah. And I think something kind of interesting and sort of tangentially related is that if you are considering running competitor ads in the future, this is a really good baseline to have, just to consider that your traffic is going to be more expensive because the quality of your ad is going to be bidding against somebody who has that high quality score and that domain that's directly related to the search. So I think it's interesting to think about it sort of conversely. And if you're planning on running competitor ads in the future, this will give you a really good baseline of what to think about that your competitor is likely doing if they're running branded search too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always It's always kind of a double-edged sword, and it's tough to make we call them competitor conquest campaigns, really work well for that exact reason. So sometimes you always think, oh, it's a great idea. There's this huge competitor in town. I'm just going to bid on their traffic and we're going to be super profitable. But oftentimes that ends up being really expensive traffic to bid on. And it's not really a very easy strategy to find a lot of profitability with.
Great. So I feel like we've given a really great overview and a good argument for branded search. What would you say for small businesses who are ready to get started? Is it hard to set up a campaign for branded search? How easy is it to push the button?
It's pretty straightforward. It's a search campaign. So it definitely, as long as you're understanding how to set up a good responsive search campaign, it's going to be more simple because there's not a lot of keyword research involved. You're really just looking at, the name of your business. Maybe if you have a very specific product offering, sometimes you'll do that. If you have like a kind of a branded, your hero product is a very specific name that people might be searching for. You may want to roll that in as well. But yeah, so the keyword research piece kind of falls out because you're just using these branded terms that you have. And then you go about it the same way you would create any other search campaign. Just a good ad that really describes kind of your business more generally. So it's not going to be super product focused, super, in depth on a very specific service offering. It's just kind of a general, hey, you're already looking for me as a business. Let me include some headlines and descriptions that tell you a little bit more about who we are and what our differentiators are, and then go for it.
That's great. So go forth and protect your branded terms.
Definitely. Yes.
Great. So do we want to transition into what's good?
Let's do what's good. I've got a great one today, so I can go first if you want.
Good. Yeah. You go first.
It's always who gets to go first. So my what's good for this week is that today is actually Lindsey's start date anniversary with PPC Pitbulls. So 1 full year we've been working together. Thank you for everything you've done for the business, and I've just been having a blast working with you. So this has been that's the great thing to celebrate this week is a full year of getting the opportunity to work with you every day.
Oh, that's really sweet. And I'm glad I haven't run you off yet. And gosh dang it, you took my what's good. So to just piggyback off that and say it's been really, really awesome for this past year, just getting to learn and work with you. You've been really, really accommodating and awesome. And you're such a teacher and a great person to work with. So I've been so excited about all the things that I've learned and get to chat with people about. And I just feel like I'm on a great road with PPC Pitbulls. So I'm just so grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Here's to many more years.
Yeah, definitely. And part of spooky season, I feel like it just can't get better right now. We've got football, we've got fall, temperatures are dropping. We're hitting this 1 year landmark and everything's just feeling really good right now. And now that I said that, I have to knock on wood. Tree doesn't fall in my yard or something crazy like that.
Definitely. Yeah. We're off to a pumpkin patch. That can be our additional what's good pumpkin patch this weekend. So excited for that.
That's really exciting. Are you going to, no, I'm thinking of apple orchards. What do they do with the pumpkin patch? Do you get to ride around in a? Yeah,
you do a hay ride and the whole bit. Yeah. We got a place near my parents. So we'll kind of go up to there and visit with my parents and get to take Jasper out. Jasper's just old enough this year, I think, that he'll really enjoy it and get in there, picking out his pumpkin and all that. So
I hope he gets a big one.
Yeah.
He used to lumber around to carry.
The family rule was always you can take any pumpkin you want as long as you can carry it out. It's got to be size such that you can carry it out on your own.
Did you get pretty competitive with that? Did everybody really go for it?
Oh, definitely. I grew up with 2 older brothers, so it was always, who can be the strongest to carry the biggest pumpkin out.
That's so fun. We didn't have pumpkin patches out in the desert, so we do apple orchards. So I'll have to do that this year and kind of make up for it.
Definitely. Good thing to do. Well, great. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening to e-commerce marketing with the Pitbulls. If you like what you hear here, make sure to subscribe to the channel here and you'll get notifications every time we drop a new episode. You can also visit us at ppcpitbulls.com where you can sign up for our regular newsletter. I don't want to say monthly or weekly because that's kind of changing by the day. But yeah, we'll send some more news and insights. And also, as always, you can book a free strategy consultation if you'd like to hear a little bit more about or tell us a little bit more about your business. And we can help you figure out the best way forward with paid marketing.
Yeah. And we will see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.